So, what can I learn from Joseph? I sat back in my chair after studying all of this stuff and about having a fit over all of the symbolism between what Jesus has said and what He said He would do and this process. I said, God, what can I learn from Joseph? And there was one thing that stuck out more than anything else. Y'all ready for this? This is deep. If you came for the deep Sunday, this is it. At times, God's blessings don't come in the ways that you expect them. Joseph had been a model citizen. He had gone through the process the right way. He had done everything he knew to do. He had followed all the rules. So he expected a certain outcome. Maybe some of you are like that. You go, I did everything I knew to do. I followed all of the things that I knew were right. I followed all of the rules that had been given to me, and still I didn't get what I thought I'd get. Have you ever received something, a blessing in a way that you absolutely despised it to begin with? I mean, all of a sudden something happens in your life and you turn around and you go, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe they just did that. I can't believe this, that. And then a year later, you turn around going, God did that in my life. You wasn't saying nothing about God on the day it happened. All you were talking about was, I can't believe I did everything I knew to do. I've been tithing, I've been giving, I've been attending church, I've been doing everything I knew how to do, and now all of a sudden this has happened in my... I know y'all don't act like that, you know. Us unspiritual Christians do. We throw fits like that on God. Maybe you thought your provision was going to come in one way, and God sent it in a way that completely caught you off guard. Maybe you thought your healing was going to happen through divine touch and a divine healing, and God provided it through surgery. See, now that's flipping the script on us, because we like to go, you thought you was going to be healed through surgery, but God, maybe sometimes. Maybe you went to church one day to hear your favorite preacher, and you was expecting a word from the Lord. And then after it was over, the lady who sits on one side and always gets on your nerves so bad walked up and said something to you that made you turn around and walk off, and you realized 3 days later maybe God required obedience in a manner that was stylistically opposed to your preference. You ever had that? In the midst, maybe God required obedience in a manner that was stylistically opposed to your preference. However, in the midst of submissive obedience, you found your blessing from the Lord. You need to realize sometimes your blessing will not come through the song you like. Now, we love to say that in the contemporary church about the traditional church. But how about in the contemporary church? Maybe sometimes God needs to sing Amazing Grace over you. Now, I'm not talking about all the stuff with bad theology in it, but I'm talking about sometimes God needs to speak something to you in a way that will shake you. I don't hear God like that. You don't tell me how you hear God and how you don't. God has a way of wrecking all of our expectations. Sometimes your blessing won't come through, your word won't come through your favorite preacher. Sometimes your provision won't come through your expected source. But we've got to take a lesson from Joseph. and learn to look for God in unexpected places. Jesus taught about this in Matthew 13 and 44. Can we throw that on the screen? Again, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid, and for joy over it he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. No, wait. Because almost all of us in this room looked at the fact that he had found a treasure. But Jesus' focus was where he found it. He found his treasure in a field. What is a field? It's nothing more than a plot of dirt. He found treasure in dirt. He found a good thing in a bad place. Sometimes you got to do a bunch of stuff you don't like to do to get to do something that you really do like. The thing you've been looking for is usually it's usually in the place you least expect it. And yet what we do is we look in dirt for dirt. Can I look at a Simon and call him Peter? Can I look at Jacob and call him an Israel? I was reading Twitter one day, and Perry Noble had put this on Twitter. He said, when we automatically assume the worst about people, we cannot effectively lead them. I wrote this: stop looking for everything you don't like and start looking for the treasure. That's some great marriage counseling right there. When you bought the field, you bought the dirt because of the treasure. You got married and you moved into the field, and all of a sudden now you can't find the treasure because all you're looking for is the dirt. You need to stop looking through the dirt for the dirt, and you need to start focusing on the treasure, because it's the treasure for which you bought the field in the first place. At one point, all the dirt was, you could deal with it because the treasure was worth enough. Y'all ain't got to clap, y'all ain't got to shout. I'll do it for myself because I know I'm telling the truth. We have got to stop. This is one of my things for leadership, is we cannot lead someone that we cannot find the treasure in. If all I can ever see in you is dirt, if all I can ever see in you is the negative, if all I can ever see in you is the bad stuff, I can't lead you. Because my goal is to pull the treasure out of you and make you a field worth buying. How many of you know the story of Laman? Naaman, I'm sorry, not Laman, Naaman. Laman. You're Laman. Everybody's like, never mind. Naaman. Naaman had leprosy. Leprosy caused you to be put out of the entire city. They would take you and chunk your butt out the gate and slam the door. Be like, you ain't coming up in here till a priest comes out to you and declares you clean. Naaman had leprosy, but his skill was so great that the king said, cover him up. I don't want nobody to see that. Bring him in. He can live in my house. He put his entire family at risk, his kids at risk, his servants at risk, because of the treasure in the midst of the field. Now notice, Naaman, the king didn't leave Naaman that way. See, some of you want us just to deal with the treasure and never deal with the dirt. I love you too much to let your leprosy stay. We love your gift and we love you, but we're going to deal with the dirt. Hallelujah.